Hi, I'm Gemma and this is going to be my first ever video on YouTube. I've been putting it off, I've wanted to do it for a while, but I thought I'm just going to bite the bullet, so forgive me that it's not perfect, and I decided not to use a special mic this time, so I thought I'd give it a go and hopefully it will improve over time. Yeah, so who am I and what do I do? So I work in mental health in the daytime, and in the evening I spend most evenings fiddling about with something art or craft related, and I like to do lots of different stuff. Um, I like to keep things novel and I like to get messy, so I do lots of different things with lots of different materials. At the moment I'm working on fabric mostly, and I've been doing tea dyeing and rust dyeing and ripping up fabric and stitching it together and then embroidering with the machine over the top, which I love doing. And a few years ago I did a sari weaving course and I really loved it. Did it with my mum. Me and my mum do quite a few different things together, craft wise. She's always been really good at sewing, and I've always, although I really like textiles, I'm not as patient with sewing, let's say, as she is. So my style tends to be better when it's messy. If I try and stitch a straight line, it's usually not a straight line. So I deliberately don't try and stitch a straight line if I can help it. And so ripping stuff up and stitching it back together in quite a messy way, that's something that really appeals to me. So where am I going with this? Okay, so the thing that I'd wanted to do since doing the sari weaving course is to get a loom. But obviously a sari loom is what, 1,500, something like that. And I have been looking into looms and decided that I really want to be able to weave different twirls. I don't necessarily want to weave really complex patterns, and I don't necessarily want to weave very perfect patterns, but I'd like to be able to weave a twill and maybe mix in some sari kind of ideas. I want to kind of do my own sort of style of different things, so I'm going to mix stuff up. But the idea of the thing that particularly appeals to me about sari weaving is that you use odds and ends, and that's something that I really like. So I use lots of scraps, and this particularly stuff for rust dyeing, that's all scraps. And I have sort of donated fabrics from charity shops, fabrics from recycling places, and that's the kind of thing that I really love, is to use stuff that's already been used and that nobody wants, and give it a second life and be more sustainable, really. So that's what appealed to me about sari weaving. The thing that's been putting me off starting YouTube is that I don't really know what niche I fit in, because I don't really fit in a niche, truth be told. But I've decided that my niche is really going to be sort of textiles and art and craft techniques and mixing them together and combining them, because I think a lot of makers, you know, and it works perfectly well for them, they have a particular niche or remit, so maybe like weaving, and that's what they do and they stick to that, and I'm not very good at sticking to things, and I need to go where my interest takes me, and my interest takes me all over the place. So I need to use a technique that will let me go all over the place. And with weaving, I'm thinking of it as part of the overall picture. So weaving with bits of fabric or bits of paper, or tie dyeing. So that is my sort of starting point. And I thought, because I looked on YouTube and not found an awful lot on what to do with setting up a secondhand loom, that might be a nice place to start. So we'll see how it goes. But this is my journey. Okay, so this is the new to me loom that I've just bought.